Hi everyone, I am Vayu Maini Rekdal. I am a Miller Fellow at Berkeley and I'm working in Jay Kiesling's lab here at JBEI. And I'm really excited to be here today because I love cooking. I grew up in Stockholm, Sweden, but my family is from all around the world. Cuba, India, and Norway. And so growing up, food was a way for me to connect with my culture and where I came from. And it's always had a special place in my heart. And I thought for a long time that I was going to be a chef. So 10 years ago, I moved from Sweden to the US to come work in restaurants. And I thought that that was going to be what I ended up doing. But kind of got sidetracked, and cooking, my passion for cooking evolved into my passion for science. And today at JBEI, I'm kind of merging those two passions, using science to explore how we can make new foods and use microorganisms to do that. So I'm excited to share with you some of my passion, not so much science, but very much cooking. I want to share with you a dish that is quite simple to make, something you can make at home, and has a special place in my heart. It's a dish called Arroz Congrí. It's a very typical Cuban dish, and 1 year ago or so I was in Cuba visiting my family around the holidays, and we ate this dish quite a bit. It's a very common dish in Cuba, and it's something I just remember very fondly, and I actually learned kind of how to make in a new way for my family in Cuba. So today I'm going to share with you that. It's very aromatic and should be pretty accessible for a lot of people at home. So let's get started. All right, so we'll need a few ingredients here today, and you can experiment and add things if you want. It's a quite kind of flexible dish, but we're starting with the spices here. We have oregano, we have ground cumin, we have a few bay leaves, some dried sweet peppers, some garlic powder, and some black pepper. Then over here we have the main player of the dish. This is the rice, long grain white rice. Over here we have some beans. So these are canned black beans. I prefer to make this with, regular kind of cooked hard beans, but we'll do canned beans today. And then over here we have the water, or sort of the juice from that can of beans, and we mixed it in with a little water. So we'll save the sort of colored black bean water because it gives a really nice flavor and color to the dish. And then over here, garlic. Who doesn't love garlic? Delicious, we have lots of it. Over here, some cilantro. You can see fresh, nice amount. Yellow onion, 1. Two kind of spicy peppers, and then 1 green bell pepper. So let's get started. So we've now chopped all the ingredients. You can see them here, quite a variety. And we are ready to start cooking. Let's go. So it's really important that we wash the rice to get some of the starch out, to get the right texture. So you can see here, the rice is in water. We can just move it around, and you can see the water gets really white because of the starch leaching out. And so you'll have to do this a few times. Pour out the water, add new water, do it a few times until the water clears. So we can see here, the water is pretty clear, and so we have washed our rice successfully. We're gonna start cooking what's called a sofrito. That's kind of like the base of the dish. That's what's give it the nice kind of aromatic flavor and the power. So the sofrito is composed of all the ingredients that you see here, and the spices as well. You can make a bunch of sofrito and save it for later. Here's some that I made and frozen in the freezer. And so whenever I want sofrito, I can just pull this out of the jar and put it into my dish of interest. So the sofrito starts with the onion. So we go here to the pot where we have a bunch of olive oil, kind of medium heat, and we're gonna now put in the onion. Oh, that sound, that aroma, incredible. So add all the onion, medium heat or so, and then stir around. So we've been stirring this for about 7 minutes, in the oil, stirring frequently. You can see this kind of golden color that the onions have. So that indicates that it's time to add the chopped peppers for step 2 of the sofrito. So let's add those here. The sounds, the aroma. Pay attention, this is the most beautiful part of cooking is all the moments in between, the changes. Look at that. So now we're gonna stir this in. All right, so we've been stirring this for about another 7 minutes or so. You can see that the peppers are mushier. They're kind of getting a caramelized, browner appearance, and you can see that it's kind of taking the shape a little bit of a more of like a paste. Okay, so that means that we're ready for the next step. So I'm going to now add the spices that I have over here. Add them. I'm gonna feel all that aroma. Oh, wow, incredible. I always like to roast the spices because it really brings out the essential oils and the aroma. Instead of just adding the spices without any roasting, you get a very different flavor profile. And next is the garlic. Let's add that in here. Chopped garlic, stir that around. It's important with garlic that you don't cook it for too long, because then you really lose that garlicky flavor, and I really like to have that garlicky flavor. And then last but not least, the cilantro for some extra aroma. You can really feel the smells and the aromas in here. And this is basically your sofrito. We're gonna stir this around for another 3 minutes or so. See the sofrito here, if you feel that it's a little bit too dry and you need some extra lubrication, you can add some olive oil, and that's what I'll do right here. It doesn't hurt, it's really gonna help bring out the flavors more, so don't be shy with that. But here's the sofrito. You can see it's kind of like a paste. Smells very nice, and that means that we are ready now for the rice. So let's add the rice. You can see here we have our 2 cups of rice. We're going to add it to the pan. You're going to hear a nice sound. There's the water from the rice. And I like to just kind of stir around the rice for 2 to 3 minutes to really roast it in the pan. Get some extra kind of flavor and aroma. And look at those beautiful colors, how they're coming together. All right, so we let that stir around for a few minutes. We're then going to add salt. You can see here. I'll add about 1 teaspoon or so. You can always add more salt later, but I like to get a little salt in here to make sure it's kind of incorporated into the rice. Next, the beans over here. Let's add those. Mix that up. In there, nice. You can see them distributing. And then finally, the water. This is the bean water plus some extra water. It's 3 cups, so always 1.5 times more water than you have long grain rice. Add that. Once we add the water, we stir it around a little bit and we let it kind of get to a oatmeal-like consistency. So the water has been absorbed. You can see that it's a little bit thicker, and that means that we can now turn down the heat to very low heat, put on this lid, and then set a timer for 20 minutes. All right, here it is, Arroz Congrí. Open it up, beautiful aroma. You can look at the texture is perfect. You can just leave it on with the lid off for a few minutes just to let any residual moisture escape. Just kind of get it to the final state. But look at that, doesn't that look just so yummy? And the spices, I wish you could smell. That's it, Arroz Congrí. So we're finally ready to eat. I'm so hungry after all that cooking. Really excited to indulge here. So here we have the final dish. The Arroz Congrí is kind of the center. I also made some braised cabbage, some roasted tomatillos, and some garlic shrimp over here. And if you're vegan, basically make the same thing, but with some barbecue tofu. I won't show you how to make any of these today, but you can email me if you're interested in the recipe. So that's it for today. It was really fun to share my passion with you, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you have the chance to taste this deliciousness just the same way as I do. Thanks.